have you ever gone cross-eyed from a nut shot in real life?
Not that I can recall. I've been pretty fortunate. Like my nuts have been pretty unscathed up
Okay.
until this point, but now that I'm saying that, I'm sure I'll, fall off a ladder or something and
That's the only reason I bring it up so that I can just get some like bad juju going your way
yeah. Oh,
because I think
thanks.
it's time. Like, um,
I've had a good run.
the Monster Squad. So, and you were mentioning Rodney Dangerfield.
Yeah.
So looking at the compilation, I was wondering, like, I was trying to find stats, like nut shot stats, and for the life of me, I couldn't find anything. But I was thinking, like, what actor has been hitting the nuts on film the most? And after watching the compilation, like, I had an inkling that it was probably Mike Myers.
Yeah.
A lot of Mike Myers, he gets hit in the nuts so many times. I think in almost every movie, there's some point where he does, and I think the reason he takes the cake is the Austin Powers movies
Yeah.
because he's 3, 4, 5 characters each movie, and I think they all get hit in the nuts once,
Yeah.
so he's got to be winning. And lo and behold, I was like looking around for more videos, and I went to E-Bomb's World, and it was just a copy of the same video I was watching. And the first comment was, Mike Myers has to be at least half of these.
Right.
So, so I think for my like non-scientific research, I would say that Mike Myers is probably the nutshot king.
The Nutshot King.
Yeah. So I got to give it to him. That's a lot of hard work. And maybe one of the most classic nut shots of all time. You mentioned Rodney Dangerfield,
Right.
the movie Caddyshack.
Yes. That's the one I
So
always think of.
yes, so
Yeah.
drives the ball, yells for, hits the old dude in the nuts, and Rodney Dangerfield. Oh, I should have yelled too. That was my Rodney Dangerfield. Um,
Do the
but
Jackass guys count?
um,
Because that's not like a movie, but that they
right.
had to have been hitting the nuts more than anybody, right?
Do they get? I mean, do they get more credit because they're actually taking it?
Uh, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, have you seen those guys nowadays? Dude,
Yeah.
they're a friggin' train wreck, man. Like Bam
Hmm.
Margera, that guy looks like a sweaty old fat guy.
Well, I mean, you see like a lot of pro athletes, like years after they're done, your body just breaks down. And I would say what they do, it's not obviously a sanctioned sport, but they are putting themselves through some like strenuous activities.
Oh, for
So
sure.
I would say like maybe they don't count as movie nut shots, but it's almost like athletic sport nut shots.
Yeah,
Some of those are the best.
dude. I mean, between them and like pro skaters, like how many times does a pro skater like grind on like a tall rail and then falling on his nuts?
Oh yeah,
I feel like
that's
that's
rough.
happened like 1,000 times.
Yeah, that's rough to watch.
Oh, I know. It's like the worst. Like you cringe.
Mhm.
Cringe worthy.
For me, when I'm watching baseball, I think like gets a foul tip. Usually the ball it'll foul tip right to the ground. It'll come up right underneath his cup.
Right.
I've been there.
A
It's not pretty.
foul tip.
Yeah, foul tip to the tip. It's
A
not great.
foul tip to the tip.
Um, and another thing I noticed with movie nut shots is they're kind of easy to stomach if it's like you get that sound effect like knee to the groin that's like a
Yeah.
punch or a or whatever. But when they add like the crunching noise, like somebody like grabs someone's bits and pieces
Right.
and squeezes, and then you hear like the grinding crunch.
Oh
I think
yeah.
I think that's what puts it over the top for a lot of guys
Beer
seeing that.
Fest. There's a good one in Beer Fest
Uh,
where they're like fighting. Have you seen Beer Fest?
yeah, I've only
Okay.
watched it once.
All right. So they're like fighting because the lady came to like steal his recipe, and she
Okay.
grabs his nuts really hard with her hand. He's like ah, and then he grabs her, and she's like
Nah,
yeah, no,
not so fast.
not so
Um,
fast, Bella.
have you seen the movie? Have you ever watched The Monster Squad?
No, is that the
That
like,
ring a
Monster
bell?
Squad? Is that the one? Who's it? What's in that? Is that like the?
I have no idea who's in it. I think uh maybe like Corey Haim or someone. I don't know. Oh no, that's a 1987 movie. And the reason I bring it up is it made the cut for movie Nut Shots.
The Nut Cut.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now. Nobody. Oh man, like nobody that is recognizable anymore as an actor, or no names that I recognize. But it was
Yep.
the Wolfman scene. It's
Are they the type you would recognize by their face? You're like, oh, that's the guy.
I don't think so. I think it was a one-off. I think it was a one-hit wonder for these kids. But a group of kids hunting monsters. They come across the Wolfman. They're trapped, and one of the suggestions was to kick him in the nuts. And Wolfman doesn't have nards, and they kick him in the nuts, and it hurts him. Wolfman's got nards, and it's just such a like a little kid thing to say.
Right.
And it's maybe one of my favorites of that whole compilation. Proclaiming that the Wolfman's got nards.
Hey man, wolves. How do you think wolves reproduce?
I guess, yeah. I mean, dogs have balls.
Oh, dude, some dogs have gigantic balls.
Yeah, yeah.
Some squirrels have gigantic balls. I've noticed.
Squirrels, yeah, squirrels in their nuts. I mean, you see, yeah. Everybody's probably seen the picture of the squirrel like dangling from like the flower planter that has like a little like comes to a connection and it's stuck.
Yeah.
I feel bad for him. I think that's like universally. I wonder if other animals see us get hit in the nuts, if they have that same feeling, because like we see it happen to squirrels, and we're
Right.
like, oh my god, sorry man, sorry bro,
Yeah.
sorry
Squirrels see
squirrel
us.
dude.
Yeah.
Like we feel their pain.
So, do you ever have a hardcore nut shot ever? I mean, in your sporting days.
Um, Probably, yeah. I took took a foul ball to the nuts. Um, or if you're like I think a couple of times. Luckily, I always nut cupped up. A couple of times took a screaming ground ball, hit a piece of dirt, took a bad hop, and then just right to the junk. And you don't feel it until after the play's done. You complete the play, throw the runner out, or just like whatever. And yeah, you don't feel it for a little bit, but then it sticks with you. But nowadays, I think that if it happens, it's usually me punching myself in the nuts because I dropped my cell phone and I tried to catch it. And
Oh, right.
you have that thing where you drop something and then like the act of you trying
It's
to
the
catch it makes it,
reflex.
yeah, the act of you trying to catch it makes it 100 times worse.
Yeah.
And it's usually like you try to cup it towards your body, and by the time you react, it's usually around there.
I've done that a couple times with knives.
That's not great.
They,
That's not great.
like doing food stuff, and all of a sudden I'm
Mhm.
dropping a knife and I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
like you
yeah.
don't realize you're doing it until you're like, yeah, there's been a couple times I've gotten nicked up. But nut wise, man, my big story with that, I think maybe the only time I've ever had a real hardcore nut experience that I remember, a nut.
A hardcore nut experience.
Hey, you want to have a nut experience? That's a
Yeah.
good pickup line.
Does
Uh,
it sound like a candy bar?
yeah, it's gonna
Nut
be
experience.
nutrageous.
Ooh.
No, but the only time was a baseball thing. So I was playing center field. This is high school, and I was never a power hitter. I just couldn't figure it out. I couldn't get around on like balls. I don't know what it was. It's just I just wasn't the type of dude that like I could hit things hard, but I could never like get around on like fastballs and hit them out of the park.
Sure.
So I would always like slap the ball and then try to run because I was fast back in the day. Not anymore, but back in the day, which is why I was a center fielder. Um, so there's this one game I remember in particular. We were in Elk Point, which is down by Sioux City, and some dude hit like a line drive ball in front of me, and I ran like as fast as I could, jumped. I like had a diving catch where I dove forward and caught it. It was
Hmm.
sick, like just a sick catch. But when I got there, my nuts rolled up underneath my body, like in front of
Mm.
it. And
Yeah.
like as I slid, they were like crushed in between my like stomach and the ground. And it
Yeah.
hurt so bad. Like it hurt so bad.
Oh no.
So I like was limping into the dugout and I was the next at bat. And I'm like, oh God. So like I'm first up the next inning. And the catcher's giving me because they taught, how on Sports Center they're like, oh yeah, the guy who makes the great defensive play always comes up first, so
Oh yeah.
the catcher had some joke about that, and I'm just like, yeah, like trying not to talk or say anything because I'm just hurting, and I'm just trying to get through this at bat. So I'm
Yeah.
like, let's just get through this at bat and get the hell out of here, So I decided I'm gonna swing at the first 3 pitches. Don't care what they are. I just want to get back in the dugout,
Right.
rest because I'm hurting. And the second one, the first one was like some weird curveball. It was not in the zone, missed it. The second one, fastball right down the middle, and I hit it at just the right point, and it flew all the way. Their fence is the type where it like had like the front of the fence and the back of the fence, and then there's like a 2x4 in between, so there's like this little gap. And
Sure.
it hit on the top. It must have like bounced off the back part, then the front part, and then went over. But it was only home run I've ever hit.
That a boy.
And yeah, so I had to run all the way around the bases, which I'm like running extra slow, and people, everybody thinks I'm like being just an ass, like a total
Yeah.
showboat. They're like, oh, look at John,
I'm milking it out there.
he's walking around the bases, and then I get
Tears
to
in
the
his
end.
eyes.
Yeah. And everybody knows I don't hit home runs. So I get to the end, so like the whole team's standing outside the dugout, and like some dude like lifts me up, and I'm like, oh my God, I was still hurting, man. It was awful.
Yeah.
But then I ended up going out of the game after that because I was just in terrible pain. And I was in pain for like, I don't know if I like bruised my nuts, but I was in pain for like a week after that.
Very likely. Yeah.
Yeah, it hurt, man. Like it
That's
hurt
rough.
to walk.
So, did you have did you have your team members like hit you in the nuts before every at bat after that? I mean, baseball players, they're pretty superstitious.
Right. No, I actually, I didn't tell anybody about the nut thing. Like I like lied to my coach and was like, yeah, because he was like, oh, why you out there hot dogging it around the bases there, I mean, I know you don't hit home runs, but don't have to be so
Yeah.
cocky. And I'm like, no, I think I hurt my leg diving for that ball. So I'm like, I think I probably need to sit down, because this was like at the end of a game too. I think we were up.
Okay.
We were up pretty big, and I think we were up by like 4 or 5 runs.
Might as well. Yeah. Why
Yeah,
push
I'm
it?
like, I just want to sit out. You have any experiences like that besides the tipping?
No,
No?
not that bad. Not that bad. Not to the nuts. Yeah, the only reason I've ever had to sit out of like games is because I've done like regular sports injury stuff, like blowing or like I don't know, straining muscles, popping things, getting hit in the face with a baseball.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. But my nuts have been
That's what happened. Okay.
Yeah.
Explains a lot.
I couldn't get out of the way. Pulled it all. It was but he was a sidearm thrower, so the ball had a lot of ride back inside on it.
I hate that. Why do people do that?
Man. So, but he was throwing hard, and I could not catch up to him because every ball was like riding in. I was like fouling it in, like I hit one foul like line drive into their dugout. I was so far behind that one, but I hit it hard, like right into their dugout.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. But then the next pitch was like in, and I kind of froze a little bit and backed up a little bit, and it had more ride than I thought, or it had more tail than I thought, and it came in like right in the face.
Ooh.
So that wasn't ideal, but it was all right.
That's worse than a nut shot.
Yeah.
I think hit in the face is worse than a nut shot.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
But luckily, nuts have been intact.
Well, that's
But
good.
that was, yeah.
You
but
you didn't crack your nuts.
No, I never cracked my nuts.
That's good.
But then that was, yeah, college baseball. That was like my last day of college, or my last game playing college baseball.
Was getting hit in the face?
Was getting hit in the face. There was only one game. It was a scrimmage game, and there was only one game left in the season. And it was like the season was done. So it was kind of weird. We had a scrimmage game towards the end of the season. It was
You got
just
hit in the
that's just
face.
that's just when it happened. But speaking of college sports, you had a local college sport hero
Right.
visit. What was that
Yes.
all about?
Yeah, so we're right like in between two colleges. My pizza place that I own. We're in between the University of Sioux Falls, which is right across the street, um, and then like literally a block and a half to the other side is Augustana University. So like literally Sioux Falls has two big universities. Those are it, and they're
Mhm.
within like two blocks of each other. So we're like the only business in between those two blocks. And so when I opened it up, I like had all sorts of college themed pizzas and like for the names anyway. And I didn't want to be biased towards one or the other, but there's a guy named CJ Ham. A lot of Vikings fans are probably familiar with CJ Ham. He's starting fullback, made the Pro Bowl last year. But he went to Augustana here in Sioux Falls, and we named a pizza the CJ Hammer after him.
All right.
So every time, I post something about the CJ Hammer pizza, I've been tagging him for like a whole year.
You have to. Yeah.
And every time I tag him, he shares it on his Instagram.
Wow.
So he shared it like, I don't know, 10 times up until
That's
this point,
solid.
which is sick.
Yeah.
But I'm, one of the last ones, I'm like, when you're in town, you got to come check it out. So he was in town. So he came. He ordered one. He ordered it to go. He ordered it carry out like via telephone.
Okay.
So and it was on the weekend, so I wasn't working. Um, and then the gal that was working didn't really realize it was him until he like came in to
Sure.
like pick it up. So he was there for like a total of like 2 minutes. But she
Mm.
texted me like right away, and I like threw my coat and my shoes on and like just bolted over there as fast as I could. And I missed him by like 2 minutes,
Ah,
which sucks. But he did post on his Instagram story that it was delicious, and yeah, that's pretty cool, man. I mean, it kind of sucks though. I always thought the story of him coming there the first time would be like, I'd be there, I'd be like, oh, let me show you this. I'd make it like perfect, but
right.
because I'd make it to the point where like it'd be Instagram worthy. It looked super delicious. It still looked
Right.
pretty delicious. I mean, the way she made it or whatever. But there's like little tricks you can do to make it look better.
And then like
Um,
you and him would become best friends.
right. And I'd be the best man in his way. He's already married. I'd be the godfather to his next child.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you know. And I'd move in to his guest house whenever I came up to Minneapolis. I'd go take vacations and hang out with him, and we'd just
Right.
party. Yeah.
And he would like instead of a pizza, he would have like a touchdown dance he'd name after you.
Yeah.
And then he would do that the next time and then tag you in his story.
Right. It'd be like the Gritty, and then all the other dudes in the league would start doing it, and there'd be this big 30 for 30 movie about me and my pizza place, and yeah, we'd be famous.
Yeah. I
Didn't
mean,
quite work out that way.
there's still time. There's still time.
No, but I was hoping I'd at least be there so I could like I could take a picture with him and
Right.
then print it out big and frame it, and then like maybe have him sign it or something next time he came.
Oh,
Be- because
yeah.
like, you go to restaurants up in the Twin Cities and stuff, like, and you see like famous people that were there. They have like a picture of them with the owner, like shaking hands.
Right. Right.
That's
You
like
should
an old
ask him
school thing to
for,
do.
does he have a dog? You should ask him for a picture of him and his dog or something.
Yeah, I don't think he does have a dog. Maybe he does.
Oh.
I've never seen a dog on his like stories,
Sure. Okay.
And I'm friends with his wife too on Facebook, just because I don't know, we've had a couple like little like Facebook Messenger conversations about, the pizza and stuff. But yeah.
That's
Anyway,
that's cool. Did he
yeah,
have any
man.
input in the ingredients?
Oh no, no,
Ah,
he didn't. No, but it had, I'm like, it's got to have ham.
of course.
Yeah. So I made it like a spicy
Makes sense.
Hawaiian, even though he's not a Hawaiian person. You know what I mean? Like he's from Minnesota. But I just figured
Right.
a spicy Hawaiian. I'm like, what can I make that's like, so I wanted to have ham, like pork products on it. But then I also wanted it to like pack a punch because it's the hammer, the CJ hammer.
And he packs a punch.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, there's all sorts of like metaphors and like, yeah. Anyway, but long story short, it's got like sriracha on it. It's basically like a spicy Hawaiian pizza. It's got pineapple, bacon, ham, jalapenos, and sriracha drizzle. It's delicious.
Mm,
Yeah, it is very good.
sounds good.
You know who loves that pizza? Like more than most? Stoners. Stoners love
Ooh.
that pizza.
Oh yeah.
The CJ
Is
Hammer,
it
like
the yeah. I suppose it's the is it like the just the all the different types of like flavors and experience and like sensations you get from it because you get like the sweet pineapple, the salty ham, the spicy sriracha,
yeah,
um, the love of Sonny's Kitchen.
right. Yeah, it's
You
that.
get it all.
There's that one, and there's one that I call the Liu Kang bicycle kick. And that
Nice.
it's very similar. It's got like a different sauce and it's got chicken, but that one's, it's like sweet and spicy. I
Okay.
feel like stoners like sweet and spicy pizzas apparently.
What would you do if Liu Kang came in?
Oh, dude.
That'd
I
be
would for
wild.
sure get a picture with Liu Kang.
Yeah.
Oh man.
What if he came in and asked you to fight him?
And just like punched my head off
Yeah.
for using his name and not giving him
Right.
money for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you used my likeness, you son of a.
Right. I mean, he's probably strapped right now. I haven't seen him fight in any Mortal Kombat's in a really long time.
Yeah.
He's got to
Who
be
knows?
hurt.
Is he even still alive?
I don't know.
I should have named it after Johnny Cage or something.
Right. Right. A little longer shelf life.
Right.
Sonya. I mean, I tried reaching out to Sonya Blade, but she was unavailable. So I don't know. They might be in the. I don't know. What do they call it? The Netherworld.
Purgatory? No, I don't know.
Oh. Ah, Shadow Realm. I don't know.
Oh, the Shadow Realm. Yeah, right? With the dude with 4 arms.
Goro.
Bro, I like how you have all the names memorized. That's good. That yeah, man.
You should have a pizza called the Goro.
Goro. Yeah.
It's gonna have 4 arms.
I
4
should have a
chicken
pizza.
wings.
I should have a pizza named the Goro. That's like $30 and it's 4 pizzas stacked on top of each other.
Oh my god.
How sick would that be?
4 pizzas like all like melded together, or stacked on.
Yeah,
well, it'd
dude.
be kind of tough in the oven. You stacked on top of each other would have to.
Well, you make them one. It's like a cake. You make them
Yeah.
one by one, and then you stack them on top of each other, and then you cut them all at once.
How many people would you let if you made that a challenge? How many people would you allow to eat that?
I
Is
mean,
that
as many that wanted to pay for it, really.
I suppose. Or is there like if you eat the Goro, you get you get a PlayStation 1 copy of Mortal Kombat? Or Super Nintendo? Or was it on Sega? I don't know, one of those.
It was on both of those. That'd be hard though, man. I'd have to source all those. It'd be expensive.
Yeah.
It's too bad. Like, it'd be cool if that was a challenge. Well, if we did that as a challenge, first I'd have to see like how big of a challenge is it. Like
Right.
if we had the first 10 people ate the whole thing and I kept giving people free pizzas, I'd be like, eh. But like, let's say the first 10 people, nobody could get it down. I wonder if there's like a place where I could order T-shirts and then they have like 2 fake arms coming off of it, with like the Goro.
Yeah.
Have like a logo that's like, I ate the Goro, and you have like 2 little like dummy arms sticking out of it.
Or you'd have to have like screen printed arms like going down the side with their arms on top or something.
That'd be good.
I think that's a 2-person challenge but you have to, or if it's more, if it's like
One
four
person,
people,
dude. One
one
person.
person, four
Yeah,
pizzas.
man.
Okay. Do you give them? Then you gotta give them like a half an hour.
It's 4 pizzas in one.
Right.
Yeah, and you give them time. They've got to like
Yeah.
they got to like eat it fast.
Mm-hmm.
Half an hour, yeah, that's about right.
Right.
It's got
One
to be
person.
hard.
Yeah, way hard, I suppose. They have a local diner here has two, like one food challenge. I don't know if they're doing it anymore, but they have two foods that are like their breakfast burrito is like 5 pounds. It's 4 or 5 pounds.
Is that the place I went to?
Marges,
Yeah, dude.
maybe.
Remember?
Yeah.
I
So the
went there
breakfast
and I
burrito.
was like sick.
Yeah.
And
So the
I'm like,
breakfast
why did I
burrito is
go
like,
here? Because this place like smells.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
the 4 pound breakfast burrito, and I think Unc's mess is just like a pile of stuff. And I think that's like 6 pounds of food.
Somebody got the breakfast burrito. I was like a college student was there and got the breakfast burrito.
Yeah.
And they like didn't realize that's what it was. And they were like, holy shit.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Like get your picture on the wall. Uh my friends and I got when each got a breakfast burrito and we didn't have to buy food for a week because we just kept eating this burrito in different ways.
A 5-day burrito.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Marge's, man, that place, it's cool because it's like a neighborhood place, but it grossed me out because I take blood pressure meds and I
Okay.
accidentally took two because I had been drinking the night before,
Yeah.
and I took one then, and then I took another one right when I woke up, like a dingus, and then I looked in my like little pill thing, and I'm like, I'm only here for 3 days, and there's not enough pills for 3 days. I'm like, I think I took an extra one. So then I was feeling like nauseous. So I'm like, we got to go eat something. And I went to
Yeah.
Marge's and I got corned beef hash. I don't know why I got
Yeah.
bad choice from
Strange.
you know?
Strange
Like,
nauseous food.
yeah, dude, it looks like dog puke. So I'm eating dog puke and I'm in this place and it's not exactly clean, you know? Like,
Yeah.
but that's part of the charm. And this is like peak COVID time too, where
Okay.
like everybody's scared as shit, but like nobody in that place is wearing masks.
Right.
So I'm like bugging out. The place is packed, and we're all like, it's just very like, it's just a small place. But I will say, like, the food was delicious. Even the corned beef hash, even though it looked like dog food or dog puke, but that's how it looks. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean that's how it looks everywhere. It's not. It doesn't look like dog poop just because there or puke, poop, dog
Well,
puke there. It looks like dog puke everywhere. You know?
yeah, it's a pile of loose meat and potatoes.
Yeah, and it's like kind of red,
And
corned.
and the beef has been corned, whatever the
Yeah.
hell that means.
Well, yeah. What does that mean?
I don't know. I don't think I want to know.
Corned. It just sounds so gross.
Yeah.
They put it in a cornhole. I don't know. That place is good though. I'd go back there, honestly. I just got to make sure that it's like the right time. It's a sick breakfast spot for sure.
Hmm.
Like,
Well, I think
had an awesome menu.
yeah, and I think the secret ingredient to greasy spoons like that is like butter and grease. Like you can make anything, like cooking with butter and cooking with fat. Everything's delicious.
Right. Yeah. What about olive oil? You don't think there's any olive oil there?
I doubt it. I doubt
No?
it. If it is, it's like some concoction of whatever, like leftover bottles of like canola oil they have at home, and then
I
like
was
they
gonna
mix
say
in.
it seems more like a vegetable oil place.
Yeah, I think it's a vegetable oil place for sure, a canola oil place, um, olive oil. So do you have yeah? There's this. Do you get into like fancy olive oils?
Olive oils, I like olive oils because it's good for your heart. But I don't
Okay.
get into like here in town there's this weird like fancy olive oil store and like that it's called like Olive Destination.
Okay.
And I've always wondered, it's been around, it's been in business probably like 3 years, 4 years. But I wonder how the hell that stays in business because it's like it's like in a strip mall, like right by a big like thing with like Target and Burlington Coat Factory and Kohl's and
All
like
right.
a PetSmart. But it's in like a you know the size of like a Verizon store or something. And I'm like, dude,
Sure.
how is that place staying in business? Like olive oil, like I, I don't understand how you just don't go through it very fast.
Right.
And like fancy olive oils, like I've never gotten into that. Like that there's a have you ever been to an Italian restaurant where they like give you bread at the start and then they're like, here's a bunch of olive oil for you to dip your bread in and you do and
Yeah.
then you eat it and it tastes almost the same but with like grease on it.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that's probably the olive oil. I don't know.
When they like crunch up some garlic in it and then it's like
Yeah.
it tastes like garlic kind of, but
Hmm.
also just kind of more like oils.
Right.
I, I've never understood. Is there there must be a demand for who does that? Who
I
eats
think so. Like here's some slippery bread. Um,
like there's some guy at home he's eating that.
yeah. Well, and like those olive oil shops, it's like, I mean, what is the big seller? Like there's like black truffle, whatever, olive oil. And then every jar, like it's like a
Different
point seven
flavor.
fifty or 375 milliliter, and they're like 30-40 bucks for a jar or for a
Insane.
bottle. But then they'll have like the different salts, like the different, like I think there's like every single type of olive oil, they have like a matching type of salt, it seems, in those
Yeah.
like fancy olive oil shops.
Yeah. You know
But I mean,
what's weird about olive oil is if you eat an olive, it's got some hardcore flavor. Like so
right.
much. We talked about this before. So much so that like when I was a kid, I was like, ugh, I'm not really into
Hmm.
olives. And now I'm starting to get into it. And people put them in their beer, and it like changes the flavor of your beer. But
Right.
then like if you squeeze the oil out of these things, like it doesn't taste like anything. What the hell, man? It's
I
so
think,
weird.
yeah. Well, I think it's got to do with the pressing, I believe. And I
Like
don't
take
know,
the
like are
flavor
the
out.
olives, what's that?
It like takes the flavor out the way they.
Um, yeah, because I think they like grind them up and then they press them, so you're probably getting some flavor from the skins and then the whatever. I'm not a
From the
olive scientist,
skins,
but like you're probably getting some flavor from the olive, like the meat of it.
from the olive
Um,
sack.
but what I don't, yeah, what I don't know is like the olives that we eat, like that you would put in a beer or put in drinks or throw on pizza. Is that like pickled in some way?
Oh
Like,
yeah,
is it
yeah, yeah, yeah. You're
like
right. You're right.
preserved?
That's probably what it is. So if you got like a fresh
Yeah.
olive and you ate it, it wouldn't taste the same, I suppose.
Right, right. I think you're getting some like that saltiness of the brine and like weird funkiness of the olive.
Yeah, and like extra virgin olive oil. Like what pedophile named that? You know?
Man, yeah. I don't know. It's some weirdo. Some
Yeah.
weirdo that like you named all things pure virgin. Um,
Everything's ripe. You
yeah,
know, everything's like ripe except for olives. They're virgins.
right. Virgin
Some
olives.
guy with just like
What
a
a creep.
tiny penis. He's like,
Yeah.
this one's a virgin.
Not
Just
anymore. Not
yeah.
after I'm done with it.
Why does my olive have a pit in it anymore? And he's like, it was a
Oh,
virgin, not anymore.
it goes in the non-virgin pile.
Gross.
I
I just
know.
I don't get a virgin. Nobody uses that as like a descriptor word for anything except for people and olives.
Yeah, it's really just witches and yeah, witches, warlocks, and people who make olive oil are like the three types of people that use like, and I guess like religious people, but like those are like the four types of people that really use that word anymore.
And Richard Branson. Like how does he
And
get away with it everything being virgin?
and
Virgin
Richard
Mobile.
and Richard Branson
Yeah.
and kids in like weird kid movies or
What?
the kids in like the actors in the American Pie movies.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
you know.
But that's, they're talking about people, like it's not used as a descriptor for anything but people or olives.
Sure.
That's just weird to me. I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah. I guess we'll never know.
And have
One
you
of
ever
those things.
seen virgin olive oil? Because it's always extra virgin.
Right.
I've
Yeah,
never seen it without the
I
extra.
haven't. I haven't. I've just seen extra virgin and then olive oil.
Like they're kind of overdoing it a little bit,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Virgin was shocking enough. You see that, and
Right.
maybe it's just the demographic. It's just like all like dirty old perverts that they're looking to sell olive oil to. And then they're
Right.
like, no, 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 extra virgin.
And then like regular virgin wasn't selling. They're like, no,
No,
no, no, guys, seriously, it's like more virgin than virgin.
yeah, we
But
picked
like
it.
you can't get any more virgin.
We
Like
squeezed
that's
it
one of those.
from olive seeds.
Right. That's one of those words that like virgin is virgin. You can't get more virgin.
Yeah, it's
It's
just
just
gross.
that. Yeah, I don't know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of gross they named it that. Why'd they do that? And how has that not been canceled? You
I
know?
don't think olives have. I don't think that olives can give consent. I think it's because they're just a thing.
Well, somebody's got to speak for the olives, Matt.
That's true. You got to fight for the people who can't fight for themselves.
Right? So,
I wonder what the yeah. That's probably like a good like Google rabbit hole to go down and find out. It probably takes 2 seconds. Like when did people start making olive oil and calling it virgin?
right. It
That
has
was
to be like an old timey thing. That sounds like something from like the Middle Ages, you know?
oh
It
definitely
just,
like a some sort of like Greek or Italian thing.
yeah, it never got updated.
I gotta know this now.
We're learning things here.
Wow. It was first used in cooking at least as long ago as the 5th, 4th century BC.
Yeah.
Three
Okay.
grades. 3 grades.
So that's why.
Yeah. Yeah.
People back then were one step above heathens. I mean, they were straight up cavemen almost.
Yeah. And I think it's one of those weird things. Like there's more to it than we'll ever, I guess, care to know really. But I think it's another one of those things. Like there's like people that will put out fake wines. Same thing in the like fraudulent people that will rebrand or mix wines and then like pass them off as these like $1,000 bottles of wine.
Right.
There was a big racket about that a little while ago. Same thing in the olive oil world, in the olive oil game. Like people would pass off like fake or faux high quality EVOO and just
EVOO.
just raking the cash, just raking the cash.
Man, that's a racket, man. I gotta get into that business.
Dude, anything. I just heard a couple of weeks ago an NPR report. A guy was a spruce farmer, was on NPR, and he was talking about since the pandemic hit, there's been a higher demand for interior decorating things, especially this holiday season.
Yeah,
Because
I get that.
people have all this time on their hands. They want to decorate their homes. So there was a higher demand for spruce tops, which they
Hmm.
just lop the top off of a spruce tree, and then you get this little thing to decorate, like put on your mantle, do whatever. But there would be these like spruce top thieves that would like go to like spruce farms and cut the tops off of trees in the middle of the night and sell them. Like, because on the black market, you could apparently sell a spruce top for like $1.
Oh man, a
Yeah,
dollar.
yeah. Well, I mean, you think you get like 1,000, 2,000 a night, and
Who's
um,
cutting 1,000 spruce tops in a
and
night? Dude, that would be
bandits,
such a pain in the ass. That's not even
yeah,
worth stealing.
right. These spruce bandits, man.
Think
Spruce
about
bandits.
like meth heads that rip copper pipes out of like abandoned homes make more than that.
And they're very enterprising people.
Yeah,
Anything's a racket.
meth heads. Tell you what, they're definitely an enterprising people. Speaking of meth heads, I got a story.
Oh,
Not really related, but
okay.
I'm just gonna go for it. So, have you ever been to like a crazy meth head party?
No.
Yeah. So I have.
Awesome.
Didn't mean to, but so I had
You
an
never
old.
plan these things.
No, you just end up there. So no, I had an old. I don't know how it happened. No, But my
Okay.
old friend, his name was Heath. He's since passed away, not from meth, but he was kind of a non-judgmental type of feller, and
Okay.
he had a cousin that was just like very hardcore, like very like tough, like kind of like a almost like a crazy person, like the
Sure.
type of dude that everyone's scared of. Like you don't want his cousin coming out. Like if something ever happened, he's like, "Oh, I'll call my cousin," and then he'd come and like scare the shit out of everybody because he'd like be the type of dude that like have a gun on him all the time and just looks nuts.
Like
You know,
Devo from Friday.
like kind of, yeah. But he's like a
Nice.
white Irish dude, and he wears like the Irish cap thing.
Okay.
Smokes like giant cigarettes and stuff. But anyway, so he started living with my friend Heath for a little while. They rented this like house, and he had his cousin had these dudes that he knew from prison over, and they
Okay.
were having a
Good.
party.
All right.
So Heath's like, "Hey man, we're having a party tonight with my cousin," and then he's got some friends, and I'm like, "Okay." So we were gonna go out, and I was with this other dude that I knew at the time that I worked with at this hotel, and we're gonna go out to like the bars, but Heath like really wanted us to come to this stupid party, and I really didn't want to go because like his
Okay.
cousin scared the living hell out of me, like always has. And so I warned this dude that I was with. His name was Luke. He worked with me at this hotel. And I'm like, hey, we have to go to this party probably for like 10 minutes, and then we can go out to the bar because we just want to go to the bar. We just want to pick him up, but we were like obligated to go in because he was so jacked that he was having a party at his little house. So I'm like, okay, whatever, dude. We'll come in. So we come in, and it's like straight up like the craziest looking dudes you've ever seen. We were
Nice.
the only ones there without like a neck tattoo, and like these aren't just like neck tattoo like scrawny like nowadays you see a lot of scrawny like wannabe gangster dudes with like neck
Yeah.
tattoos and they're like very small. So
These
this
are
was
these
like,
are beefcakes.
dude, these are like hardened criminals from prison. They're like ripped, all of them. And
Awesome.
then yeah, so there's some things going on in like the back rooms and stuff. So we show up to this party and it's just sketch. And we start talking to these two dudes that come up and like are talking to us almost like as an accusation. They're like, who are you guys? Why are you here? Blah blah blah,
Yeah.
And I'm like, we know Heath, like it's his place. And they're like, no, it's my friend, Phil's place. And I'm like, oh, that's his cousin, And I'm trying to like explain it to these guys, and they're like, no, it's not his cousin.
Yeah.
And they're just like, I don't know if they're with us. I think they're just trying to scare us. I don't know, but
Sure.
they pretend like they know this dude Luke that I'm with, and they're like, oh yeah, man, you're a snitch. And I'm like, uh-oh. I'm like, what is going on? So they're like, hey, you shadow box. So they're like fake, like pretending to punch him in the face and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just getting all sorts of weird. And I'm like, dude, I just wanted to go to the bar. So anyway, this is a very long story, but not really. It's almost done. So they're in the middle of this shadow box thing, and I'm like pooping my pants because I'm like, dude, I don't want to be here. And like this guy Luke that I'm with, like I can't just leave him here to get his ass beat by these like crazy people.
Right.
And a group of people came out of the back, and they were doing some sort of a drug, had to have been, because one of them was like this girl, and she comes like staggering out of the back room with all these other people, and like as these guys are like fake shadow boxing and like antagonizing this dude I'm with, some girl falls into a glass table and shatters it. There was a candle on the table, started the carpet on fire, and then it was just mayhem. Everybody trying to like put the fire out, and like so we slipped out, and like I like grabbed my friend Heath, and I'm like, dude, let's get out of here. But yeah, imagine being like so out of it that you like fall into a glass table. That would be
Oh,
awful.
I mean, it sounds like a real. I mean, was it one of
It
their
was a
kids'
real
birthdays?
rager.
Was it one of the kids' birthdays or something?
It was just
Sounds like a real wholesome get together.
Oh yeah, man. Let me tell you, it was a rager. It was fun. Uh, just kidding. But yeah, man. Imagine, have you ever been so like messed up or like sleepy or like I don't know, like just like out of it that you do something crazy?
Not like, yeah, I haven't fell head face first in any glass tables or anything like that. Like
Good.
when I'm out of it, I do stupid shit, like I'll open like a sugar packet for my coffee and then dump it immediately into the garbage. Those are
Like the sugar?
yeah, yeah. Just like, you open it and then just like dump it, like turn to my and then just dump it in the garbage. Those are the things I love. Like that's absolutely hilarious to me because it was a waste. There's no like fixing it. You can't go back. You can't get the sugar back out of the garbage. But it was a harmless waste. It was just
Yeah.
like, oh, well, I did that now. And it kind of wakes
Since
you up a little bit because it's
what?
kind of funny.
So how does that happen? Like how? When have you ever not like dumped sugar into a garbage? Did
Never,
so
never.
yeah.
I
Like
think
you
it
didn't
was
throw the
so,
packet in, you opened the packet and dumped
yeah,
the sugar out of the packet into the garbage?
yeah. But yeah, I think your brain, like in those states, your brain's just like just short wires every once in a while.
Were you
You just
gonna
have a
drink
little
the
like,
garbage?
you just have a little mental hiccup. It happens.
Weird, man.
You put put your milk in the cupboard or
Yeah.
like almost dump it in the like instead of pouring cereal in a bowl, you like nearly pour milk in the cereal box.
I think there
You
was one
know,
time I put my keys in the freezer. Like I came home in college and I think I was kind of tipsy and I was trying to like put a frozen pizza or something in the freezer and it was like a tiny freezer because I was a poor college kid
college.
and yeah and I had to like finagle some things and I accidentally like put down my keys in the freezer.
Then you couldn't find your keys.
Yeah, and I
I'm
couldn't find
guessing
my keys for a few days and I'm like,
in
where
the
are
freezer.
they?
Why does that make me think of Step Brothers? Like,
Do they
I
do
think he
that?
put like yeah, I think he put his mom's like purse in the fridge or in the oven or pillows in the oven. Mom's purse in the freezer.
I almost pulled the grandma's boy thing once where I like was like kind of messed up.
Made love to a very old woman.
Oh no, oh totally. Yeah, all the time. No,
All right.
no, not that. I was all messed up and I I made some sort of like thing with the oven and I almost grabbed it without an oven mitt. Like I
Yeah,
reached in and then I was like, wait a second, what the hell am I doing? You know?
yeah.
But I was like this close to like grabbing it with my hands and being like, ah.
People, man. You know.
So my college roommate, who was also my best friend growing up, he had a tendency to get very drunk, which, college. And he would do weird things, mainly fall asleep while eating food. He would
Okay.
do that a lot. So like,
Hmm.
and he'd go to bed after me. So I'd go to bed. I'd come home. We'd go out and party. And I'd come home. I was always pretty responsible with my times. So I'd come home at like 12 or like 12:30, 1 o'clock, go to bed. He'd stay up till like 4 or whatever, whenever he'd
Yeah.
come home. I don't know. But he'd come home while I was sleeping. And then I would like wake up the next morning and like he'd have like ramen noodles scattered all over his bed. He always had a
You-
tendency to like he'd fall asleep eating something and then he must shift when he sleeps or something because it would always just get everywhere.
Did he ever make any hockey puck pizzas or anything like that?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's done that before. He the oh the grossest one was rice pudding. He spilled rice pudding all over his bed while he
Okay.
was sleeping. Fell asleep with a cigarette in his mouth once. But yeah, the rice pudding, man, his like sheets were like all crusty and gross. There was one time he took a piss in our garbage, and I woke up to like the noise of him like urinating in the garbage,
Yeah.
and I like was pissed, so I made him change the garbage and then go wash the garbage can out. in like the shower, the dorm shower.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah. Garbage cans. I think garbage can toilets look pretty great when you're sleeping
it's true.
in your dreams.
Yeah.
I
I
think you must have some like semblance of like understanding of like surrounding and what's going on. You just don't know like what room you're in.
well, it was funny because like our dorm room is across the hall from the bathroom on the floor.
Okay.
There's like the whole floor. We were closest to the bathroom, like literally right across the hall. It's like an extra 5 steps. That's why I was so pissed about it. I'm like, are you kidding me, dude?
Yeah. Those door handles, man, though, they're tough. I mean, sometimes you just, I can't do it. I'm just gonna pee in the garbage right here.
Well, and the garbage is next to a sink. He could have went in the sink and turned the sink on.
That would have made a lot of sense. That would
That
have
would
made
have
a lot
been.
of
I
sense.
mean, I wouldn't have been as grossed out by that as I was the garbage. I mean, I know it's the garbage, but you're gonna literally fill it up with liquid. What if that pops because you put a pizza box or something in there, and now all of a sudden, that your roommate doesn't realize there's piss in it.
Yeah. What if you have, what if you have so much pee that it starts overflowing the garbage, and then like
Jesus.
a steady like um, depth of pee starts like rising in your dorm room, and eventually your beds are floating, and then you float down the hallway,
Ugh.
and he floods the entire dorm. What if that happens? I bet he
It
didn't think
could.
about that.
Our whole room could have smelled like piss too,
That's
for
also true.
like
Yeah, that would have been a
a
little worse.
week. And I'd be
Yeah,
like, why does it smell like piss in here? You piss your bed? And he's like, no, you know?
yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
Yeah. They're like, okay, dude,
Not
whatever.
pissing the garbage again.
Did you piss in the garbage again? That's like something a little kid does, I feel like. That's like such a little kid move.
Yeah, maybe in our blackout or like drunken stupors, we're not fully adults. We kind of revert back to kind of more primitive thinking.
Yeah. So I just got told a story today by someone, I won't mention who it is, but a friend of mine told me that he used to is like I don't know 5 or 6 years ago he used to work at this place where he worked upstairs and the bathroom was downstairs
Okay.
and it was like a one person bathroom and they had like 20 people working at the place and like the owner guy used to take like 30-minute dumps like 5 times a day.
I've been there, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he used to go pee in a bottle in this like closet at his work.
God.
Throw it in the garbage. And I'm like, dude, imagine being the janitors. And he's
Yeah.
like, his response was, he's like, no, man, I drank a lot of Mountain Dew. So like I just pissed in Mountain Dew bottles. They'd never know. Like, still gross.
Imagine the conditions. Imagine the conditions of being forced to pee in bottles in closets, secret pees.
I mean,
Having a workplace so like
why don't they have 2 bathrooms
so poorly like set up for the workers that your workers are peeing.
in
Like you hear stories about
bottles?
like Amazon workers like peeing in bottles on the lines because like they have to like or finding like little nooks where they can pee in bottles because you got to keep up with the quota, man.
Oh
Got to
man,
keep the capitalist train running.
so gross. Peeing in bottles. There's so many pee stories, man.
Absolutely.
Do you ever have well, we've already kind of talked about this, but you and your bike, being on your bike
Oh yeah.
as a kid. There was one time when I was a
Oh good.
kid, oh, good too. There
Yeah.
was
Before
one
the show.
time when I was a kid, I got real big time trouble. My actually this has happened a couple times. I got a couple stories here. When I was a little kid, I was probably like 7 or something. We lived in like this like low income housing that was like townhouses
Sure.
and one bathroom. And my mom, being a lady, she would always take forever to get ready. She'd be in the bathroom getting ready for like ever. So I remember one time I was a little kid. I went out we had like a deck out like side of my parents' room, like a little deck that like overlooked the backyard of this place. And I went out there, and then they had little like underneath you had like a little patio where like most people have their grill and stuff.
Sure.
So there were these two old ladies next to us grilling, and I took a whiz off the deck, and it was like splattering down. And they were like one door over, and they told my parents, and I got in big trouble. But it was because my mom was in the bathroom. I didn't know what to do, like a
Right.
little kid.
You can't interrupt the mom getting ready time.
No, and that continued into like my high school years, and that same dude.
That's a really long piss.
Oh yeah, dude, I really had to go. Um, so it continued into my high school years. My mom getting ready, taking forever, and or no, this is middle school years actually, and this is after I had made friends with a guy who pees in garbage cans and who spills
Yeah.
ramen noodles. He had to take a dump real bad, and my stepdad was downstairs taking a dump, just blocking up the whole toilet. My mom was like in the shower and like getting ready for work, and he had to go apparently. So, and he used to like withhold his poops. He had to have, because like I have a kid who does that, one of my kids, and he
Yeah.
takes these gigantic like freaking Chipotle burrito size.
Yeah.
So this dude did that too, and so I would imagine that like when he had to go, he had to go. So he went out, and there was like this big like like this berry bush thing in the corner of my yard, the backyard, and he went and took a dump out behind it, and apparently it was very, very, very big, like huge, because he came back inside and he's like, dude, this thing, you got to come see this. So we go out so he can show me what he did,
Yeah.
Apparently it was the biggest one he's ever done. And I'm like, okay.
Proud.
So we go out, and at the time I had this dog named Willie. He was a Rottweiler. And we go and we look behind the bush like 5 minutes later, and it's not there. And I'm like, where is it? And he's like, I don't know. And no kidding. We turned around. The dog was there. He had the turd hanging out of his mouth like a cigar. It
Nice.
was so gross.
He was like an action hero dog.
He was like the insult comic dog.
Right. Oh,
like
for
that.
sure.
Yeah.
That's probably where they got it from.
Except it was like a turd the size of like, when you open up a can of refried beans and you take it out and it's still in the cylindrical can shape.
Yeah.
The turd was like that. It was like, looked like it came out of a can of refried beans. So
solid.
He had this.
Seriously solid.
He had this giant. That's what she said. He had this giant turd hanging out of his mouth. Man, this podcast has really gone into the toilet, for lack of a better term.
Soundboard that. No.
Yeah.
That was a good 20 minutes on poop and pee.
I mean,
so who have you thought of your hunk of the week this week?
It's got to be somebody that has something to do with poop and pee. I'll tell you that. Let me think about that. Do you have one? Do you have one ready?
I mean, I'm gonna say two hunks of the week, and that is the left and right nut of Michael Myers.
Oh, right.
Definitely for taking abuse and taking a pounding all these years to give us idiot kids laughs. Forever the professional. I think he deserves it. It's been long enough. I think it's been far too long since he's gotten recognition for that.
You know what's crazy is Michael Myers is like does he actually play the crazy Michael Myers guy?
No. I think it's just a coincidence. Yeah.
They should do a reboot where he's the guy.
Where it's just him.
It's just him. Good. Right? That'd be good.
Yeah.
No, my hunk of the week is Probably CJ Ham, man. I got a that
There you
that dude.
go.
That dude's a beefcake, number
Yeah.
one. And the fact that like he came into my place and like ordered my thing because I named it after him, like I don't know, man. I feel like not too many people once they get like famous or rich or whatever, like they wouldn't do that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, that's such a cool thing to have happen.
I think that's an accidental smart. Well, I mean, it made sense for your location and his where he went to college, and now he plays for the Vikings. But
Right?
he's also a fullback. You know, I don't know that fullbacks really get like too showtime on anybody.
No, they
Like
don't.
if he was a wide receiver or quarterback or something like that, like it's see you later. But I
Yeah.
mean, fullbacks. I mean, if he was you got to start naming things after like kickers and punters. Like they would be there all the time.
Yeah, I mean that was part of it too, is yeah, but I was glad he didn't pull like a Kenny Powers on me and like call ahead and be like, "Hey man, $50 and I'll come take a picture with you," or something. You know what I mean? Because you never know how these guys are.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But he seems like a genuinely cool guy. So
Or like, I never agreed to have this pizza be made, so you owe
right,
me. You
yeah,
owe
you're
me.
making money off of my name. Can I have royalties? You
And
know,
then MC Hammer gets in on it, and then it's
MC
just
Hammer did get in on it because that's
and
the song that I played on my Insta story.
there you go.
I shared his post. So you know,
Very nice, very nice. Well, I
all
think
right.
it's been a solid hour and 10.
Yeah. This is probably one of the better ones, I feel like, so far. It was funny, I feel like. Right or no?
Some good content. Some good
Yeah.
content. A lot of bathroom stories,
A lot of toilet humor.
a lot of toilet humor. But yeah, it's good talking to you, John. I have to hit it.
That's what she said.
Nice. You you have a solid week, and we'll see you next time.
All right, man.
All
Take
right,
care.
later. You too. Bye.